Good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Bill Turnbull and Kate Silverton.
Banks may have to pay back billions of pounds to customers they've charged for going into the red. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 25th of November.
Also ahead. Well, good morning. First, our main story. Bank customers will today find out whether they may be able to claim back billions of pounds in unauthorised overdraft charges.
The Supreme Court will rule today on whether the Office of Fair Trading can assess the fairness of overdraft fees. More than 1 million customers have been demanding the repayment of charges for unauthorised borrowing, as Mike Sargent reports.
So as Aaron put it to me, it's just one link in that very long chain. Later on Breakfast, we'll be looking at how the ruling, though, could affect all of us and whether it will change the way we bank in future.
And at 7:10, we'll be discussing those plans with a Home Office minister.
Now, parts of Cumbria, devastated by last week's floods, appear to have escaped further serious damage overnight. It had been feared that heavy rain would cause rivers to burst their banks again.
Well, the fire service says 7 rivers have now reached their peak, but there have been no reports of any flooding. Breakfast, Tim Muffet, Duchess of York. So more details on that later.
Now, at 6:17, you're watching Breakfast from BBC News. The main stories this morning.
Chances then that they will get the compensation and the apology that
the figure in today's terms of the £18,000 a year, but when you consider the impact on people, and as it's really important to sort of up that. They actually died.
Absolutely.
Which is the other figure, isn't it?
On your report will be with us later.
Thanks,
Richard. Thanks very much. Coming up later this morning, our latest product.
Look forward to that. Let's get the news now where you are. We'll see you in a bit. Hello, good morning. You're watching Breakfast with Bill Turnbull and Kate Silverton.
Coming up this morning, warning girls about the dangers of domestic violence. We're going to speak to the brother of a woman killed by her partner, and he hopes a new government strategy could help tackle the issue early on.
After 8:30, we'll be speaking to the BBC presenter Gabby Logan about the mental pressures faced by sports professionals.
And Spencer Davis and Reg Presley, the frontman of the Wild Thing band The Trogs, will be here on the sofa. That's a little previous to one or two of us. You weren't around for the
I
Trogs,
remember
were
it.
you?
No, but you sang a lot of the songs to me this morning very nicely.
Good. Glad you appreciated it.
I'm
so
fully
early in the
appraised
morning.
now.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, of course I meant some. Anyway, 6:31. Now, bank customers will today find out whether they'll be able to claim back millions of pounds in overdraft charges.
And later on Breakfast, we'll be looking at how the ruling could affect all of us and whether it'll change the way we do our banking in future.
Now, school children in England are to be taught about domestic violence to try to change. All right, let's get the sport with Chris Neck. Good morning.
Good morning to both of you. The man behind you there, under pressure, a lot of people saying it's the end of the road as far as he's concerned. Well, it's definitely the end of the road for his Champions League campaign. We're talking about Liverpool.
Thank you very much. It's 21 minutes to 7. Taking you to Cumbria now. Homeowners there hit by severe floods over the weekend, bracing themselves last night for more disruption.
Heavy rain was forecast. So far, it seems any further serious damage has been avoided. Some small comfort then for them, I suppose, this morning. Breakfast, Tim Muffet is in Cockermouth for us with the latest.
Thanks very much, Tim Muffet reporting.
Thanks, Tim.
Time now is 17 minutes to 7. This is Breakfast. These are the main stories this morning. Also coming up on the programme this morning, and Jenny Agata will be here as well.
Indeed. Made many boys a heart flutter, so I'm told.
As does Carol. She makes my heart flutter all the time.
Decision comes at 9:45, isn't it, Ian? Yeah, 9:45 this morning. Of course, we'll have that on the news channel later on, but I'll be back next hour.
Good stuff.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, sir.
Millions of people around the world have read The Lovely Bones. You might have. It's a book about a young girl who's raped and murdered by her neighbour. Well, in the afterlife, she finds herself watching her family and her killer.
Well, that bestseller has now been turned into a film by the Oscar-winning director Peter Jackson. And last night, the stars turned out in Leicester Square for its royal premiere. Interesting, but as Lisa mentioned, you can't see it till January.
I know, a long time to wait.
Well, sometimes they do that to synchronise all the releases.
Right.
So you get this odd premiere thing, and then months later
So
you
we
get
have
the
to wait?
Yes, great time.
OK. Coming up on Breakfast as well this week.
Time now to get news, travel and weather where you are.
Wild Thing.
Good morning, it's Wednesday the 25th of November.
Hello, also ahead. School children.
We're going to be going to Cumbria again this morning. Our reporter Tim Muffet's been catching up with people who were flooded out 4 years ago to hear their stories.
And we'll be talking to Reg Presley from the Trogs, Spencer Davis, as well as they get their bands back on stage. And Carol is here as ever. OK, well, later on Breakfast, we'll look at how the ruling could affect all of us, in fact, and whether it will change the way we bank in future.
And in a few minutes, we'll be speaking to a Home Office Minister about those plans to tackle domestic violence.
Now, a review of the way the police control demonstrations in
The morning's main stories. In a few minutes, we'll get a full weather forecast from Carol.
Now, the way young people...
Time now to talk to Carol, though, about the weather. Aaron's talking about bank charges and that ruling from the Supreme Court, and you got some emails this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot of emails, but for both...
By 50 pence or something, you know...
There are those, and then a charge of, say, £39. So
Yeah.
I guess, well, you know, the OFT looking really at the fairness of perhaps the size
Yes.
of the charge. But that decision comes from one from the banking side.
All right.
Righto.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much indeed. Thanks very much for your emails and texts as well this morning on that and all the other topics this morning.
In the late 1950s and early 60s, thousands of women all over the world were prescribed a drug called thalidomide for morning sickness. Nobody realised at the time, of course, that it could deform their unborn babies.
Well, 50 years on, in the UK alone, hundreds are still fighting the government for compensation and, more importantly to many of them, an apology. Breakfast, Richard, we want the government to also provide some compensation.
Yeah,
You know, took too many or mistook the dosage. I mean, you're talking about one woman taking 3 pills for 3 days,
Yeah.
another one for just
One
one
to one.
one pill.
Yeah. And
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you.
Coming up later on the programme this morning, their latest product.
Time now to get the news where you are. See you shortly.
Good morning, this is Breakfast with Kate Silverton and Bill Turnbull.
Good morning. Bank customers will today find out whether they may be able to claim back billions of pounds in unauthorised overdraft charges.
The Supreme Court.
School children in England are to be taught about domestic violence to try to change attitudes.
How many teaspoons of salt do you think we have a day?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because it's in... I don't actually physically put salt on anything, but then maybe
It's
I'm
in
still
a lot
taking
of
a lot
food.
because it's in the stuff that we're eating.
Blood pressure levels for Liverpool fans rising, I think, Chris.
Yes, it's an interesting position for Liverpool at the moment because, yes, they're out of the Champions League. Yes, they're struggling in the Premier
Very
Thank
much.
you.
Dreadful situation people facing there. Wishing them best of luck.
Now, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are continuing their visit to Bermuda today. It's Britain's oldest overseas territory. The Queen is there to celebrate the 400th anniversary of its settlement.
Well, hundreds of local people have been lining the streets to welcome their head of state, despite calls by some for independence there. Our correspondent, Jonathan Beale, has been monitoring the royal progress.
Coming up to 7:45. Good morning. You're watching Breakfast from BBC News. The main stories this morning. Now, also coming up in the programme...
Did someone say, Stella, it must be time to talk to Carol Kirkwood?
Carol, thank you.
Now, both Britain's banks and millions of their customers are awaiting the results of a court ruling on bank charges today. It could affect all of us in the way we do business with our banks. Here's Aaron.
Absolutely. Good morning. It's a very important link in this whole chain that's been going on since the court action, mid-2000.
Thank you.
Now, both Britain's banks and millions of their customers are awaiting the results of a court ruling on bank charges today. It could affect all of us in the way we do business with our banks. Here's Aaron.
Absolutely. Good morning. It's a very important link in this whole chain that's been going on since the court action, mid-2000.
Carol, thank
thanks
you
very much.
Now, in the late 1950s and early 60s, thousands of women all over the world were prescribed thalidomide for morning sickness. No one realised at the time that it could deform their unborn babies.
Well, 50 years on, in the United Kingdom alone, hundreds of...
Well, you saw him in that report. Leading campaigner in the fight for government compensation is Guy Tweedy. As you said, really, in that report, it's incredible that it's taken this time, really, to get to even this point, that you're still having to discuss it now. You've been affected.
I've been
by
affected. It's
thalidomide.
like the Tina Gallagher that died. This has got to be sorted out once for all.
There have been payments made by the distributor of the drug, haven't there? How much does that come to? To what a wheelchair costs?
I could tell you she couldn't afford a wheelchair. The wheelchair that she would need will cost £18,000. The cost of a car with the adapt on and
And
on.
as you alluded to there, the older you get, the more wear and tear on the limbs that are having to overuse to compensate. And
Well, that's right. Well,
Decisions all that time ago have moved on, haven't they? The government apology would be for what? Because
well,
there's
of really what
but
you've
not
been
just for
through.
the thalidomide victims, but also the parents. They've been through so
and
much.
also those who died. A lot of babies died, didn't they?
Well,
I
that's
mean,
right, Tina. if you gave this lady £10 million, would it be enough? These people, thalidomiders, my fellow thalidomiders.
And for parents as well, like Sadie, who
It
are still
is.
looking
I mean,
after.
Sadie,
Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you. Carry on the fight.
Thank you.
You've been sending us a lot of emails this morning about the subject of domestic violence because it's going to be taught to children, it's discussed with children as young as 5 in schools in England in the hope that there'll be less domestic violence perpetrated against women and girls later in life. And a lot of you getting in touch. Somebody's saying, how about regulating more strictly and strongly the amount of violence that's generated by TV programmes, even news, films, video games? We wouldn't be breeding a generation of young people immune to the effects of violence in life around them.
Mental cruelty has been brought up in relationships as well. Amy Ann. Domestic violence should not be a gender issue. No issue should be based on discrimination. This is, again, a lot of you emailing in and saying, look, it happens to men as well. And I think that's something the government is acknowledging. But as we heard this morning from the Minister, 4 out of 5 cases are with women. But equally, as you say, gender equality is one of the issues that they want to address in school.
Thank you very much for those messages. Do keep them coming. And coming up, the BBC News Channel has the latest news from home.
Good morning, Simon and Carrie here on Breakfast. Stars of the 60s, Spencer Davis and Trogs frontman Reg Presley will be here, as well as acclaimed film director Stephen Polikoff.
Not all together at the same time, though. Stephen Polikoff will be here with Jenny Agutter.
Yeah, that's true. All performing live here on the sofa.
That would be interesting. Time now to get news, travel and weather where you are.
See you soon. Go, just tidying ourselves up here. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast. You're with Bill Turnbull and Kate Silverton.
Our main story this morning, bank customers will find out today whether they may be able to claim back billions of pounds in unauthorised overdraft charges.
The Supreme plans to hand new powers to the Scottish Parliament, including extra responsibility for tax, are expected to be announced today. Those are the main stories this morning. Let's take a look at what's coming up later in the programme. They've sold millions of albums. They've proved that they're much more than a boy band. They're a man band now. After 11 years in the business, Mark and Kian from Westlife are here to tell us about their brand new album, Where We Are.
The actress Jenny Agutter and the director Stephen Polikoff talk about their film Glorious 39, set in the weeks before the start of World War II.
And it's been billed as the perfect dose of the 1960s. Reg Presley and Spencer Davis here to tell us about their special gig in London this Sunday.
The film of the book The Lovely Bones is set to be a hit on the big screen. We'll be hearing from the cast of the movie, which some are already tipping as a possible Oscar contender.
Morning to both of you. Liverpool under enormous amounts of pressure. Doesn't seem that Rafa Benitez is on his way out, but he better qualify for the Champions League next season, otherwise he'll be under serious pressure. That after not being knocked out of the Champions League.
Black, yes, absolutely. People, I mean,
A group of people who wanted us to stand up to Hitler, really, and
Jenny, give us a sense then of the characters, the main characters. You play Maud, who I think is fair to say she's an integral part. I mean, you garden a lot in the film.
Yes, I garden for England, exactly. And
Julie Christie, Jeremy Northam, Christopher Lee, people falling over themselves to work with Stephen Polikoff. Is that right?
that's the reason, I think.
What is the great attraction?
well, I'm not sure falling over is quite right. Yeah.
It's wonderful writing and good directing. It's a lovely opportunity.
It was great to have such. So that was quite funny with Julie Christie.
Well, sumptuous surroundings. You mentioned Norfolk, and I was reading the location manager said that you go along actually because you take such an interest in where things are filmed, and it's actually a house that's in sort of current ownership. Beautiful. I mean, the
yes,
place.
there's this extraordinary sort of secret in
that you see in the film.
That dinner party is right by that.